A police officer was patrolling the snowy outskirts of town when he spotted something unusual. Two figures curled together near a frost-covered bench. One was a child, the other, a retired police dog. The girl whispered, barely audible over the wind, "Please don't take him, he's all I have left." That moment shattered the silence, and everything Luke Carson thought he knew about loss, loyalty, and love. What happened next would break your heart and stitch it back together with hope. Before we begin, ask yourself this. Do you believe dogs can sense more than we ever could? Drop a comment and share your story. And if your heart beats for the forgotten, the lost, and those who still believe in second chances, hit that subscribe button, because this story may change how you see family forever. Alder Creek was the kind of town people passed through without even learning its name. Nestled in the shadows of the Cascade Mountains, it lay frozen under a late winter siege. Gray skies, biting winds, snow thick enough to erase roads and memories alike. The storm had dragged on for 3 days straight. Even now, as the wind howled like a starving beast, visibility barely stretched beyond the tree line. Most folks had retreated indoors, shuttering windows and hoping the power lines would hold. But duty didn't bend to weather. Officer Luke Carson, 38, trudged through knee-deep snow along the edge of the old quarry trail. His flashlight sliced narrow arcs through the dusk. A former state trooper turned small-town cop, Luke was broad-shouldered, square-jawed, and carried himself with the quiet composure of someone who had seen too much and still refused to look away. His sandy brown hair was cropped short beneath his wool-lined patrol cap. Steel blue eyes constantly scanned his surroundings with the same precision that had once made him one of the best on the force. He'd only been in Alder Creek for 7 months. Transferring after a fatal pursuit left one of his rookie partners dead. Since then, he preferred the silence, the cold, and the uncomplicated peace of a snow-covered town where nothing ever happened. Until now. He was about to turn back toward the cruiser when he noticed it. A stillness too perfect to be natural. Near a public bench, half swallowed by snow, were two figures. A child-sized silhouette slumped over something else. Luke's instincts surged. He moved fast. "Hello," he called out gently, lowering his voice to soften any alarm. "Are you okay?" No answer, just the wind. He approached slowly, boots crunching in the snow. The smaller figure was a little girl, no older than 6. She wore a torn red sweater over a flimsy white dress. Her legs were bare, her cheeks were flushed raw from the cold, lips cracked, arms wrapped tightly around the neck of a large German shepherd who lay pressed against her like a furry furnace. "Jesus," Luke muttered, dropping to one knee. "Sweetheart." The girl stirred, her eyelids fluttered, her voice came in a whisper so faint he nearly missed it. "Don't take Scout. Daddy said he'd come back." Luke froze. Scout? There was only one Scout in Alder Creek, and only one man that dog belonged to. "Cole," Luke whispered under his breath. Sheriff Cole Matthews had been missing for 3 days. The last anyone heard, he'd gone to investigate a let alone, a decision completely unlike him. Rumors swirled. Foul play, desertion, but no one expected this. Luke removed his parka and wrapped it around the girl with practiced care. She didn't resist, but her arms refused to unlock from the dog. "It's okay," he said gently. "I'm not taking him. I'm here to help both of you." Scout looked up, alert eyes. A 5-year-old German shepherd, black and sable-coated, muscular but lean, trained for duty since he was a pup. A faint scar on his left foreleg, a meth lab raid the year before. Though clearly exhausted, Scout's ears were erect, nose twitching, eyes locked on Luke. "Good boy," Luke said, extending a gloved hand. Scout didn't growl, he simply watched, then slowly shifted to give Luke better access to the girl. "Let's get out of this cold." Luke scooped the girl into his arms. She couldn't have weighed more than 35 pounds. Her body was limp with fatigue, but she didn't release Scout's collar. So Scout followed, one slow step at a time. The station was too far in this storm, back roads buried, so Luke made a decision. The hunting cabin, just 15 minutes through the woods, stocked, heated, safe. The journey was brutal, snow clung to every crevice. The girl moaned softly, cold creeping through every layer, but Luke didn't stop, not once. Scout stayed close, his body brushing Luke's side like silent encouragement. Inside the cabin, Luke kicked the door open, shouldered it shut, and rushed to stoke the fireplace. He laid the girl down on a cot near the hearth, covering her with every spare blanket. Her hands still clutched Scout's fur. "What's your name?" he asked softly. She blinked, her lips trembled. "Eliza," she whispered. It was her, Eliza Matthews. Luke stepped back, chest tight. Scout leapt onto the cot and curled around her. She snuggled into the dog like it was the only thing tethering her to this world. Luke grabbed his radio. Static. The storm still raged. He stood near the window, snow whipping past in crooked gusts. Sheriff Matthews was missing. His daughter had been found half frozen, clutching a dog like her life depended on it. And she'd said, "Daddy said he'd come back." But he hadn't. And maybe, somewhere out there in the storm, he still couldn't. "You should leave." James Holloway, if that was even his real name, raised both hands. "I understand you're protective, but refusing to hand over a child to a registered guardian can be problematic. Not half as problematic as lying to a law enforcement officer during an open investigation," Luke said coldly. "Now get off my property." Holloway's expression barely changed. He offered a slight nod, slipped a second card into the doorframe, then turned and walked calmly back toward the road, boots crunching without urgency. Scout followed him to the edge of the porch, watching, his growl never fading. When the man disappeared behind the trees, Scout finally stopped, but his tail remained low, his body tight. Luke shut the door and locked both bolts. Eliza ran to Scout, wrapping her arms around his neck. "He took Daddy. I remember now. He had a badge," but Scout growled then too. "Daddy told me to run, and Scout stayed behind. He didn't come back that night." Luke said nothing. He picked up the card Holloway had left in the doorframe. The paper was thick, embossed with a fake agency name, Montana Child Welfare Recovery Program. There was a phone number and address, neither of which Luke trusted. He reached for his phone and called Nora Emma's. Nora answered on the second ring, voice brisk as ever. "Carson, I just finished digging into the audio you sent. That voice doesn't belong to anyone listed on official rescue teams." "I've got more," Luke said. "Guy came to the cabin just now. Claimed to be Eliza's uncle. No ID. Called himself James Holloway. Left a card. Fake agency." "Hold on," she said. Typing clicked rapidly on the other end. "Holloway is one of the aliases linked to a man named Caleb Dornay. Former intelligence contractor. Went off-grid 4 years ago. Last ping we had, he was tied to a private security firm accused of snatching at-risk children for black market placements. No convictions. Slippery. Eliza said he's the one who took Cole." "Then we're closer than we thought," Nora said. "Watch your six. He's always got backup." That night, after Eliza had gone to bed, Scout began pacing, not just around the room, but in tight circles around Luke's jacket, which hung on a chair near the window. Luke watched him for a while, frowning. Then he moved to inspect the coat. Scout sniffed along the hem, then stopped abruptly. He began pawing at the inner lining. Luke reached inside and froze. Tucked just behind the stitched tag was a black plastic disc no larger than a quarter, a tracking beacon. Luke pulled it free and turned it over. No markings. Lightweight. Professional grade. He walked to the wood stove and dropped it into the fire. Scout sat beside him, watching the flames. Neither of them moved until the disc cracked under the heat and burst into two.
If this tale moved you, if you felt the tension, the heartbreak, and the triumph, please support our channel by hitting the like button and subscribing. Your support means the world to us and helps us bring more thrilling, emotional, and inspiring stories your way. Leave a comment below and let us know what you think. Do you believe dogs have an extraordinary sixth sense? Share your thoughts and personal stories with us. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.